Hey everyone, how are you? Good? That's great. I hope you're doing great. I'm doing pretty good. I'm still overseas, coming to you directly from a hotel room. On this week's episode of our podcast, Is Breakfast Included? I talk with Paris Visone. Paris is a tour photographer who's worked with the likes of Blondie, Godsmack, New Kids on the Block, and Hanson, for which she has an interesting story. I'll let her tell you all about it. Anyway, she walks us through her day, what it takes to be a tour photographer, what she actually does, etc. She tells us what she likes for breakfast, which is not an English breakfast. And we get into that a little bit. Anyway, it was a great conversation. Let's check it out. And I usually don't take up too much of your time. All right. Tell everyone who you are.
I'm Paris Visone, and I am a touring photographer and videographer when I'm being nice.
When you're being... We have one of those out here. Where are you from, Paris?
I am from Boston, and I lived in South Florida for a while, and I also have a place in Nashville now, which is a boat. It's a houseboat. So I try to preface that with it's not an actual house, it's a houseboat. So
okay. Is it on the water or is it
It is floating on the water in Percy Priest Lake. And it's an alternative way of living in Nashville for cheap. Because I work out of Nashville sometimes, so it's great just to have a place there so you're not spending a bunch of money on hotels and stuff.
Do you ever rent it out like an Airbnb type thing?
I don't. We originally were like, okay, let's do that. And we put like so much love into it. We're like, we don't want drunk Nashville woo girls messing up our boat and then also falling into the water and killing themselves. So we figured there's a lot of liability there.
Right on.
And decided to just keep it for ourselves.
I didn't even think of that when I asked you that question. So you're a tour photographer / videographer when you want to be nice. How did you get into that? Do you have is this something have you been a photographer since you were a kid, or did you take it in high school? Or
I did. So when the story goes is that when I was like 11 years old, I got super into the group Hanson. The three brothers that they're in a band. And yeah, exactly. So I got super into them, and I was like, I was watching them on TV with my mom. It was like a day in the life with them, and they were doing a photo shoot and they were having a great time. And I was like, that's it. I need to become a photographer so I can hang out with Hanson. Like, that's my ticket in. So I just started taking pictures of my sister and my cousins. Like I made them pose and stuff like a band. And I had a little disposable camera that my grandmother like got free with her bag of dog food. Like that was my first roll of film. Yeah. And I just set up my sister and cousins as, if they were going to be the next rock stars. And then I just started taking pictures from there. And then, eventually in high school, I did photography courses, and then I went to school. I went to college for it as well. And, just developed from there, and eventually got on tour. And I did hang out with Hanson. So
did you?
It all came. Yeah. Actually, last year, I went on tour with them with my friend Zach Myers. He's in the band Shinedown.
Shinedown, yeah.
Yeah. And he is a Hanson fan too. I met him, I think, back in 2012 when I work with Godsmack. So we were doing a Godsmack Shinedown tour. I think it was the Uproar tour or something. And so I met him. We became friends, and we both figured out that we loved Hanson. Like that was our thing growing up. So he eventually became friends with them, like with Isaac through Twitter. And I was like, no fucking way. Oh, can we swear on this?
Yeah, you can.
Okay. And so he became friends with Isaac. Isaac came to a show, to a Shinedown Godsmack show, and I was like flipping out. And then the next day, they were playing in New York where we were. So, and we had a day off. So Zach and I, we got on the bus and went with the buses to wherever we were. It was like 3 hours away. I think it was Scranton. And Zach rented a car and we drove back to New York where we came from to go to the Hanson show. So that was like, I hung out with Hanson, and that was, I don't know, 20 years later, and awesome.
Did you tell them? Did you tell Isaac?
Like, I did not tell them. I don't know if they know till this day, which is awesome.
Oh, well. I've got a great Hanson story. I'm from Dallas, and I used to work the door at this club in Dallas called the Galaxy Club. And I can't remember who was playing because of the events that transpired, but Kenny Wayne Shepherd came to the show. And people were all over him and talking to him. It was during, and I didn't know it was him till these events happened. Someone asked me who it was, and I said, it's the middle Hanson brother. And he heard that, and he wasn't very happy.
Oh my God, Taylor's awesome though. Why wouldn't you want to be compared to him?
Yeah, I said it's the middle Hanson brother, and he didn't like it, and the people with him didn't like it, and they were very angry. And anyways, we got it all sorted out. I apologized, and then as they were leaving, I said, "Bye, Hanson," and he gave me the big "fu." And by that time, it was a joke, but he was really mad.
That's funny. Yeah, he wishes he was Taylor. Whatever. Anyway,
right? Yeah, I agree. So you tour with bands. We have a tour photographer, a tour videographer. I've been on other tours. Tell people who are listening who might not know what you do, like, number one, how you got into it, and what exactly does your day look like?
So I was just photographing all the time as a person. And then obviously, like, I liked music, like, growing up. And I was like starting to shoot shows locally, just in Boca Raton, which is not like the super big music area, Boca Raton, Florida. But we made it work. There are a few punk bands around there. So I would photograph those shows. And then I was super into new metal, like Limp Bizkit, Papa Roach, the best, So I would go to those shows. It's a weird like timeline. So how it actually happened, how I actually got on my first tour is that when I was 16, my stepmom brought me to a Papa Roach show, and her friend came, her friend Michelle. And Michelle started talking to Greg, who was on the tour, because we were waiting outside the bus because I wanted autographs and stuff. I was 16. Let's just put it that way. I was having a great time. Okay,
there's no shame in that, Paris.
I was a fan. Okay, you know what? I'm still a fan. I'm not even ashamed.
Hey,
I'm still a fan.
I still collect guitar picks from all the bands I love, so I'm a fan.
Well, that's kind of nerdy, but all right. Yeah. I got some for you if you want them. I got plenty. So she met Greg, who later then she married and then had kids with, and he started a company that was doing VIP on tours, and this was in 2010. So it was like brand new at the time. And he was like, hey, and at this point, I already went to college. Like, I just graduated. He's go, hey, would you want to go on tour with bands? And I was like, oh, dude, that's kind of the dream. So yes. So he's like, cool. We need a photographer to like take pictures of the meet and greets. And I was like, cool. So here I am. I'm 25 years old. And they throw me on tour with Blondie, which was amazing because they're, legendary, awesome people. Yeah. So they put me on this tour, and I was running this meet and greet and the whole thing. And I literally had no idea what I was doing at all. They did not train me. They didn't tell me what to do. Like, I had to advance things. There were tickets involved. Like, I had no clue what was going on. So I eventually figured it out. I mean, the tour people were like, "Have you toured before?" I was like, "Yeah," and I had. I toured in a van with my boyfriend's band in high school, and that's about it. So going from that to Blondie is a little bit of a jump, but
Yeah.
fake it till you make it. So I did, and that was my first tour, and that's kind of meeting people, networking, photographing. It was all just snowballed from there.
That's a pretty epic first tour, Blondie.
Oh my
Like,
God, it was so awesome.
you're a
And I had no
fucking
idea how
icon.
awesome it was. Well, I obviously thought it was super awesome when I was there because I'm 25 first tour. I never been
Yeah.
on a bus before, like traveling, and it was
Yeah.
super fun. But yeah, that was still one of my, I only did one tour with them because they ended up stopping VIP. Um, and it was still one of the most memorable ones. Like I remember specific things from it. And over the years, like I can't even tell you how many tours with Godsmack where I don't even remember a whole tour. Like I'm like, we did that. So I guess the first one's always the most memorable, but they were really, really cool. Just people to be around too.
Right on. Yeah, I know their guitar tech real well.
Oh, nice.
Uh,
Which one?
Grady.
Oh yeah, I know Grady.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
I did Godsmack. I met Guy Sykes on Godsmack, and
Yeah.
Guy's done Pantera forever. So
Yeah. Yeah. How did you get the Godsmack gig? How did you hook up with those guys?
it was through the the same company, the meet and greet company. So I did one tour with the meet and greets with them, and then they stopped doing the meet and greets. I don't know. Maybe that I'm a curse. Like the band stopped doing meet and greets after I go out with them, but they kept me on as just photo and video. So
She doesn't know what she's doing. Just keep her to
these meet and
stop
greets
them.
suck, but we'll keep her.
Just stop them.
Yeah.
And
But
so you
yeah,
became
they
their
do them
tour
again.
photographer.
Yes. Yeah, and
Right
I've been
on.
with them ever since. This is actually they're going out like tomorrow, I think, or today or tomorrow is their first show. And this is the first tour I haven't done since then, like since 2011. So it's weird. It's weird
Right
not being
on.
with them.
So as a tour photographer, you said earlier, what was the company's name? Can you say what the company's name was?
It was called Ground Control. And I
Okay.
don't think they're a company anymore.
Okay. That must have been
I
one
think
of
they
the first
pivoted
that
to other stuff.
did the
Oh
VIP
yeah, it
stuff.
was it was for sure really new.
Right on. As a tour photographer, what would you like? What is your day like? You know.
So I wake up late, which everyone hates, but it's kind of like whatever. I don't need to wake up super early. I'm also up editing super late. So I'll get up around 10, which is fine. That's fine, especially since you're working till 2. I think it's
Yeah.
okay. And I'll get up and I will typically edit video the next day. So the video from the night before. And it depends. Like with Godsmack, I would do a dressing room video like every night. It's just them goofing around and being funny. Like they're super funny guys. So it's really easy. I just go in there and they do their thing. And then I'll cut it up really fast and make them look even dumber. And it's the fans love it. So it's a lot of fun with them. Which you
Because
can
you have
see
to have
all that
that.
stuff.
You have to have all that shit ready, like for them to put it out on their social media that night.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah. So I'll edit like a short video during the day. Um, and then normal stuff. If there's meet and greet photos, like I'll do that. So that usually starts at like 5. And then I'll edit those real quick. The show happens. And then after the show, I edit the photos. So I usually take like 1,000 to 1,500 photos a night, and then I will go through those and pick like 40 to 70 like of my top choices, and then I'll put those in a folder, and then their social media girl will go through and post them. And sometimes Sully will even post them like that night, like at like 12. And I tell him, I go, that's not really a good time to post, but he doesn't care. So he'll do that. And yeah, so then we post the video from the day before that day as if they were going on stage then. So it's just a constant flow of photos
yeah.
and videos for social media. And then there'll sometimes be other things like, oh, we have a sponsorship for this guitar company. They need photos for this, or let's do some liners here because we need to promote this over here. And there's just all random things. I also like if there's a cool spot like that to just do a little quick photo shoot, I'll do that too.
Right on.
Just set it up real quick, get some of the crew to stand in, check the lighting, and then just pop it off for like 2 minutes, And
Yeah,
if we get something cool, if we don't, it was 2 minutes, whatever.
yeah,
But
yeah.
it's always good to just have more content because they're always looking for, obviously we're really drawn into the internet by content these days. So
That's
it
what
kind
it
of makes
is
my
these
job
days.
relevant,
Yeah,
which is amazing.
yeah. So I've been on tour with several different types of photographers, videographers. There's the ones that'll come over to side stage or just get shots from the pit,
Mhm.
And then there's the photographers that are on stage and they're like ninjas. They're running all around stage and getting these great angles and great shots. Which one are you?
I go everywhere, especially with Godsmack. Like Sully's like, literally go wherever you want. He's like, stand next to me. He's like, just stand next to me. I actually had Tim Armstrong. I shot a Rancid show. Was it last year or the year before? Where he told me to stand in front of him. He goes, I want you to stand in front of me. No one's ever done it, and you'll be the first to do it. And he's so awesome. So he wanted me to stand in front of him, so I did. And I did it for maybe about 5 seconds, and I was like, okay, I got it. Let's get out of
Yeah,
here.
yeah, yeah.
But yeah, I'll go anywhere because it's those types of shots. I like to shoot wide, and it's those shots are just something you don't see all the time, and not everyone has that access. So why not take advantage of that? And you're
Yeah,
not ruining the show. You go in and out. You don't,
yeah.
you're wearing black. No one's paying attention to me. There's a lot of things going on, lights and pyro and famous people on the stage. They don't care if I'm just running along.
Yeah. Yeah, I've noticed that. I've noticed, some photographers, they're everywhere. I see them because we're in the shadows,
Right.
and I always think like, I wonder if the crowd can see them. But you guys are like I said, like ninjas. You're in and
Exactly.
out.
And it's the thing is like if the crowd does see us, like it's whatever because
Yeah,
I mean, say they're filming a show, you see the camera guys, no one pays
yeah,
attention. It doesn't
yeah,
matter.
yeah,
It's and then they also like put your phone down. Don't worry, I got this.
yeah,
That's the thing. And there's a lot of fans that hit me up, you know, online that are like, "Oh, thank you so much for like filming these videos and taking these photos," because they save them and they remember it through my lens, which is pretty awesome too.
yeah.
So little mementos for everyone to remember.
So do you have your photos published in magazines and so forth? Do
I
they ever
do, yeah,
contact you
but
and say,
mostly I just work for the bands directly. Like I have done some stuff for magazines, but honestly, it doesn't pay a lot. So I'd rather go on tour and make money per week than just randomly shoot something that's going to pay $200. You know what I mean? It's a
yeah,
lot of effort. Like we're freelance technically on tour, because we're freelancing and we
yeah,
don't have an actual job unless you're on retainer, which is awesome. But um, we have chunks of freelance. And I think that's like the middle ground between like having an actual job and actually freelancing where you're doing like days at a time.
yeah,
And I
yeah.
think it's a good balance.
Isn't that funny, guy? People like us in this industry, that's the forbidden word, retainer.
Oh my God, I wish.
I know,
I
right?
mean, whatever. It's fine. I honestly, because if I was on retainer, I have to answer emails and send photos all the time. Like it's so nice to be home and not being paid. And I can
Yeah,
just be like, oh, I can just watch this TV show for 2 weeks. And I love it. I love relaxing. It's the best.
Uh-huh. So
You just
I
go
see.
so hard when you work.
I
It's
know, right?
nonstop.
It's
You can't get away from it. You're living with the people that you work with. It's an insane scenario, and it works. But when you're home, I love to chill.
yeah. Are you a good hang?
Oh yeah, I'm a good hang. The thing is, I'm straight edge, so I don't smoke or drink or do anything, but I am always the last one awake.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and I don't judge either. So that's the thing. It's like I can hang. People don't think,
Yeah.
they're like, "Oh, you don't drink. What's your problem?" And I'm just like, "Listen, this is way more fun
Right?
because you get to be
The
like
fly on the
just a
wall.
mess, and I can enjoy that as well."
I get to tell you how much of a mess you were tonight
Exactly. And
or
the thing
last
is, I
night.
have a camera, so it's even better.
Right? Yeah. I don't drink or smoke or party or anything. And now these days, I'm literally the first one to bed. But there was a time when I would stay up I would be one of the last ones to sleep just to watch the shenanigans, just to
Oh yeah.
see who we were gonna oil spot.
Oh yeah. Yeah. No, I love it. It's fun. I like the hang. But yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
some days, of course, you're tired, you have a headache, see ya. You can go to your
Yeah.
bunk and that's it. But other times I like to whatever shenanigans are going on, I love to be a part of.
Right on. So you work for Godsmack, you go out on the tour. This you're not on with them right now. How do you go from Godsmack to the New Kids on the Block?
um, so that was through a VIP company on the
Okay.
list. Um, they took over doing Godsmack's meet and greets. So I knew them because I was taking the photos for it. So I
Yeah.
would have to send them the photos and I would be in contact with them. And I just became friends with the owner and she's super cool. And I was like, hey, if there's any the meet and greet thing sort of goes hand in hand with photography. So there are always VIP reps that are photographers too. It's like a double dip. It's the best double dip. And she was like, I was like, I won't go out if it's just VIP. I was like, I need to take photos. Like, I'm not just gonna abandon my career. But if you have anything that's both, like, let me know if anything comes up. So she's like, I think I have the perfect thing for you. And I was like, oh my God, yes, that is the perfect thing. I need this right now. So New Kids on the Block, they are amazing. And it's awesome. It is intense. Their meet and greet is crazy. It's like 300 people a day. And we do like 5 and 6 shows in a row. So it's no joke. There's
Yeah.
tons of people coming through. And yeah, and I have to do all of that editing. Like I do it that day because there's just so many that if I don't stay up to date with it, like I'll just get lost.
Yeah.
So, but it's super fun. The guys are really awesome and they're from Boston and it's kind of like a Boston. I don't know how I just keep working with Boston bands and I'm from Boston. It has nothing to do with like physically being here. It's just like random. Oh yeah, they're Boston. Yeah, Paris will do it. So,
So
um,
I work for Duran Duran and every night I see a lot of the same fans at multiple shows. Do you see that with
oh
New Kids
yeah.
on the Block?
Oh yeah. There are people that came to the whole tour. And then there are people that would come to like 10 shows. And like I don't know how they're doing it because we're doing like long drives and then they're there like in the morning. Like who's driving? Like how are they doing it? I just logistically I don't understand.
Yeah.
But it is crazy. And honestly, like I love seeing super fans. Like I just think it's the coolest thing because I wish I liked something that much. you know? And it's just fun. They're happy most of the time they're happy. And
Yeah.
it's just it's great to see people happy all the time, especially with new kids because it's so nostalgic to all these people and they're it's like they're reliving their youth the whole
Yeah.
time and they're like 40 to 50 years old and they're like swooning over these guys who are also like 50 to
Yeah. Yeah.
55 and it's just cool because I also liked the new kids when I was like 4 which was actually kind of weird if you really think about it. But I was a fan. Like I had the comforter and like a puzzle and like the whole outfit and a hat. I have a picture of me wearing it. It's on my
Right on.
Instagram. It's pretty great. But
Okay. I take
I
it you
just
haven't showed him that picture, have you?
I did. I actually
Oh,
did at the end of the tour. I did it at the end of the tour because I didn't want them to think I was weird. There's
yeah.
the fine line between, oh, you don't hire fans. But honestly, like with new kids, it's kind of different. They're just it's a whole nother thing.
Yeah. Well, I'm in a similar situation, although with DD, they won't tour unless they have a new album. So they're constantly putting out new albums. But you see all these fans that have been with them since 82, and have
Yeah.
been
It's
seeing,
awesome.
yeah, it's really cool watching, and then you see them with their kids and their kids know all their songs. And then,
Exactly. Yeah.
I've been with them long enough to see their kids come to the show. But yeah, so it's really cool. So what other tours are you part of?
um I actively I am doing I'm doing Brandy Carlisle's Mothership Weekend, and that's in Florida on the 12th of May. So I'm doing that, and that's part of the reason that I'm not doing Godsmack because I'm doing Brandy and a New Kids convention, which should
Okay.
be insane, and I'm really excited about. Um, but yeah, I'm just trying to push my career in the direction of less angry.
Yeah.
I love Godsmack so much. Like, I've been with them forever, and like Sully's one of my best friends. But I need to switch it up because it's super hard to stay creative with the same band and the same songs for 12, 13 years. So I'm just trying to diversify a little bit and get out of my comfort zone.
Right on.
But so yeah, I'll be doing that Brandy Carlisle thing, and then
Your voice went real robotic real quick. I just wanted to.
did it. Oh,
Yeah.
shut up. What about now?
Perfect. Now it's perfect.
Oh, okay, I think the
The cable was a little.
just came loose.
Okay, you're perfect
Okay,
now. I'll cut
cool.
that part out. I'm gonna leave your robot voice in because you were very interesting.
Yeah,
And
you can leave robot voice in. I don't care.
yeah, you were talking about you can only be with a band for so long,
Oh
you
yeah.
know.
It
So
and yeah, you can only be with the band for so long where it's sort of starts to get stale creatively. Like you can only make so many videos of the same songs and take the same photos. Like the hardest part about being with someone that long is finding something different every night because you're doing, you know, 300 shows in a
yeah, and
couple of years and it's like
yeah,
how many I'm taking 1,000 photos a night. Like I've taken every photo of Godsmack that I can. I know that
yeah.
for sure.
And not only that, the set list, the banter, the
Exactly.
yeah. So yeah, I bet it does get. I know that sometimes, like on this tour, my boss is going through. eh, Up until this tour, he would change bases maybe once or twice, and I've got 7 changes. So now I'm like,
Mhm.
oh, it's exciting.
Yep,
I get to hand him
exactly.
bases. I may
Yep.
change strings on this tour.
Exactly. And it's nice to get into a groove of the same thing over and over and again. And honestly, like I wish I could sometimes have a job where I can just turn my brain off and just, you know, do something. I love doing monotonous things as well. Like
Yeah.
I have t-shirts and it's purely for marketing. Like I don't make any money on it. Like whatever people are buying, they're paying for the shirt and the shipping. That's it. So I was packing the shirts and I was like, this is the best thing ever because I don't have to think. I take a shirt, I put it in a bag, I put a sticker on it, and it's out. So there's something to be said about that. But yeah, it's super taxing to try to create every night something different from the same thing. But
I bet it
that's what
is.
makes the
I've
big
never
bucks.
thought about that. I've never thought
Yeah.
because I tend to look at photographers and videographers. We have one out with us, like I said, he's been with the band for a long time,
Mhm.
and I look at his work and I thought, man, how do you come up? But it never dawns on me that he's probably like What do I
Yeah.
do tonight? You know?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so Shiprocked, how did you get involved with Shiprocked?
I was with Zach Myers in 2016. I did it with him. He was with his other band, Alan Mac Myers and more, and they were playing. So I was like, oh, like let me do that. Like I want to go on it. And he was like, yeah, let's go. Zach is one of the coolest people alive, just so you know.
I've heard
And
that. Yeah.
yeah, he's so awesome. And so I did that, and I met Chris Bradshaw, who eventually ended up taking over the photo video team. So, like, what was that? 7 years later, he called me up, and I was like, he's like, "Oh, do you want to do Shiprock?" And I was like, "Oh, I don't know, because it's a lot of work. It's like 6 or 7 days, and you're shooting like from 10 to 2 in the morning." And I'm getting old, so I kind of like to pick and choose what I do. So I was like, oh, it's a lot of work. Do I want to do this? And I was like, you know what? I do, because the cruise is actually super fun. Like, if I don't know, you can eat as much as you want. And that's the best part. They have pizza 24/7 and ice cream 24/7. So I did it, and I was really excited when I got there because everyone on the team was so cool. And that makes all the difference. Like, you could work me 24 hours a day. If I'm with cool people, I'm good to
Yeah.
go. And everyone was great. So
And
yeah, it
Chris
was
is
super
such
fun.
a good dude, right?
Oh my gosh. Like, I don't even understand it. It's kind of
Uh,
unbelievable.
you know,
Just a very nice guy.
I'm gonna text him when we're done. I'm gonna tell him Paris did it, TJ did it. Now I've been trying to get Chris to do this
Are you
podcast.
serious? He won't do
I'm
it?
he won't do it. He goes,
Oh my
nobody
gosh.
wants to hear from me.
No, he's gonna do. I'll get you him
Yeah, he's a
for
good
sure.
guy. I met him through a friend of mine from England. They came to see me. I was out with a guy named Josh Ritter, but we were opening for Jason Isbell, and they came out, and Chris and I hit it off, and we've been friends ever since. Him and his wife are very good friends of mine.
Nice. Yeah,
So
he's just so nice. He's funny. He's funny when you least expect it. It's just he's always laughing. He's just a great guy. I like positivity and positive people and good vibes. So he's
yeah,
definitely one of those.
I know this life is too short to be an asshole.
Oh my God,
You know,
especially on the road. Like, grow up or just get a different job.
I know, right?
It's the
Don't.
worst.
Yeah,
Roadies are the worst, man. You know.
they
They're
are,
the
aren't they?
worst.
I'm not going to be very popular
Yeah.
when this comes out. They're going to be like, "You called us the
Just
worst."
title my episode Roadies are the worst. And that's it.
That could be that we could start a whole podcast called "Roadies Are the
Yeah.
Worst," and we could
We
probably go
can.
for it. You know,
We can
um,
have nice people, and then we can have not nice people, and we can compare.
yeah, we could have the nice
Yeah.
people interview, or just like it'll be one of those like when you see the news. What do they call when they're talking points? They get two opposite parties
Yeah.
talking.
Hmm.
My mind is going blank. Who is who have you met doing this that you never thought, that kind of stopped you in your tracks?
Oh my gosh. The first time I met Fred Durst was very intimidating. And you know what? He's still intimidating, but he's awesome.
Is he?
But he's not what you think at all. Like, whatever everyone thinks Fred Durst is, it's not it. But he's just like a super quiet dude, super cool and just chill. And you wouldn't think that from his, personality on I mean, I guess it's really the old stuff that's makes you think that, all the songs and stuff like that. But um that was weird. And then I think the new kids too, because like I knew them from so long ago. It was like my first like celebrity that I was like into. So
Right.
like just being with them, and like now like I have their phone numbers and stuff, like, and it'll pop up on my phone, and I'm just like, this is so weird. Also Hanson. That's crazy to me too. It's all crazy. It's all nuts
That's
because
yeah.
literally everyone that I've worked with, I've been fans of, but I'm not creepy about it. Let's just put that out there too. I'm not creepy about it. But the fact that like they're all in my phone is still crazy to me.
It is, right? It's
Yeah.
I guess the Hanson thing is full circle for you.
Oh my God. It's nuts. They
Yeah.
sent me a jacket with my name on it and a Hanson patch, like thanking me for being on the tour. Like, what? That's that's insane. I never
Did,
would have thought that. I was
did you
like, it was like
call
a dream to like hang out with them once, and now I'm getting mail
I know, right?
personalized. Come on, it's crazy. I
Did you
I
call
do think I
home and
might be like the Truman Show. Like this is just everyone's just watching me
you watching you
because
like,
it's
oh,
just
we're gonna drop
almost
the
too
bomb.
nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a little too nuts.
Did you call home when you got that Hanson gig to say like, I'm done. I can quit after this?
Did it. Well, the first time I hung out with him, I was like, I'm done because I it was me and Zach, and we went to the show, and obviously we were like in the dressing room, and I was freaking out. And and the whole thing was to photograph them. That was the thing. And Taylor's a photographer as well. So he's like, do you mind like if I take photos? And I was like, oh my God, do you mind if I take photos? And I took out my camera and like I have a photo of him taking a picture of me. And I was like, that's it. That's the photo. I can die tomorrow. That's it. Done. And they're so nice. I really haven't had too many people that have been shitty, which is awesome.
I know,
Um,
right? I think I'm the same way. I've been the universe has given me gigs that have been cool, and I've only had one terrible gig that I
Same.
walked
I wonder if
off.
it's the same one.
We'll talk after this.
Yeah.
No, it was so bad I paid for my own ticket home after the first
Oh
show.
my
It's
gosh.
like I'm out of
Yeah,
here,
at least
man.
stuck it out till the end. It was
Yeah.
really on the flight home that I was like, oh yeah, I'm definitely not coming back to this.
No, I'm too old to be dealing with that. I think my last words were like I had just come off Aerosmith and I was like, dude, I just worked for the guy that wrote Sweet Emotion.
Yeah.
Who are you? Who are you to
Yeah.
talk to me like that?
Yeah. No, and I have that conversation with a bunch of my friends that just they'll get treated bad. And I go, wait a second, you're good at your job. Why are you putting up with this? Like, why? Like,
Yeah.
you can get another job, even if it's a couple months from now, or like, just leave. This isn't good for you. This is
No.
it.
Eh,
And the thing is, there might be someone that it is good for. Maybe they can, maybe
Yeah.
they're better equipped to handle douchebags. But
Yeah, and
um,
especially with the stigma of mental health in our industry that's gone undiscussed for years.
for sure.
For an artist to treat somebody who's there, basically, I refer to myself as my guy's caddy. I'm his
Yeah,
caddy. I'm there for anything. For an artist to treat someone like that, you know, is
blows
just
my mind.
it is, right? It blows your mind. We're
Can't even
there for a
imagine.
service.
Yeah. I can't even imagine like having someone take care of my stuff for me and not being like completely grateful 100% of the time.
Yeah.
It's kind of
Yeah.
nuts. Um,
What's your favorite part of the show? Is it the beginning, the middle, the end, or what? Like, do you have a part of the show where you're like, oh, this is the money shot, for lack of a
I love the beginning. I'm pumped. Like the band gets like, they're all nervous and they do their rituals or whatever. I am right there with them. Like I'm like excited for the show. And then I love the end because I'm exhausted by the end of it. Usually when there's an encore, like I don't know how they do it. I don't know how they like finish and then go back out because I am so tired by the end of the show. But, they keep the adrenaline going. Mine kind of goes out by the middle, but um yeah.
as
And then there's always like the big moments that are cool, when everyone goes nuts and you learn when they're going to be and they're the same every night. So it's okay. You don't miss it. But yeah,
um
I like the beginning.
As a tour photographer, do you ever take inspiration from cats like Ross Halfin or Mark Wise or guys that have been doing it for fucking years? You
Oh
know,
yeah. I mean,
other.
I follow a ton of photographers on Instagram. Like that's what I do. Like if there's a concert photographer, whether they have 10 followers or a million, I'm following them because I like seeing what everyone's doing, whether they're
Mhm.
really good or not. You know what I mean? Because it's also good to just be aware of what bands are out and who has big crowds and who's doing what, just on a career level. Like, oh, this band's up and coming. And so yeah, of course, like the classics are amazing, but I also just follow peers, you know, and I look
Right
at their
on.
stuff and just try to be like encouraging, like even if they're not the best, like I mostly answer like DMs and stuff when people ask for advice and stuff like that. Just because, I mean, when I started looking back at my stuff now, like honestly, it wasn't bad. Like I'm not mad at it, but it's gotten a lot better. And I
Yeah.
think that everyone grows and they grow with their craft. So I like to see stuff at every every level of that it's at. And the internet makes it so easy to do that.
Yeah. Right on, man.
Before we used to have to buy books. Go figure.
I know, right?
Yeah.
I think it's what did we do? What did we do back then?
I don't know, man.
How did we get where we're going?
I used to print out MapQuest,
Right.
you know, and the only time I really went anywhere where I didn't know where I was going was concerts. So if I got lost on the MapQuest, I would pull over to a gas station and ask for directions.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's what we did.
What's the
Seems
biggest
insane.
misconception about being from Boston?
Oh, it's all correct. It's all,
Everything's
it is
correct.
exactly what you think. Everyone is the worst.
Well, you know what? Real quick before I let you go, I have one more Hanson story. I interviewed
Yeah.
a guy last year. It was his first tour ever. He came out as our audio tech. His name was Felix, and he said when he was young, he was from England, so he played soccer, football.
Yeah.
If you really want to piss him off, call it soccer ball.
Yeah.
But he said he had long hair. He was a young kid. He had long hair, and all the other kids called him Hanson Boy
Oh God.
after him. But he thought they were calling him Handsome Boy.
Oh
So
my
he was all like,
gosh.
every time they'd say it, he would be flattered that they were calling him handsome. But he goes, and I realized they were calling me Handsome Boy.
Oh my gosh. That's
Hanson,
awesome.
man, they got a bad rap, but they're very talented.
Oh
You
my
know?
God. They're awesome. And they're still going. It's like they write new albums all the time. They write exclusive albums like for their fan club. Like they
Yeah,
do the craziest stuff, like so much cool stuff for their fans because their fans are like the fans that are still there are like gonna be there forever. So
yeah,
they pump it out for them.
yeah. More power to them.
Yeah.
Where can people find you online, like your work?
So my Instagram is just my name, Paris Visone. Same thing with my website, parisvisone.com. And Facebook, same thing. Pretty easy. Or you can just go to my website and it's all there.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Well, Paris, I appreciate you doing this podcast. You know,
Of course.
TJ
It's so
speaks
great meeting
highly of
you.
you. You too. I'm sure we'll cross paths again.
I
Uh,
know.
but TJ spoke highly of you. I love TJ, so any friend of his is a friend of mine.
He's
But
awesome.
one more thing. It's called Is Breakfast Included? And if it was included, what would you have?
Oh my God. Well, European breakfasts, literally everything. Tell
The
me you don't eat
European
everything at the European breakfasts.
Well, I had a very good selection this morning at this hotel. They even had crumpets at this hotel.
Oh my God. But you're in the
And
UK right now?
I'm in the UK.
Garbage, garbage. Beans, tomatoes? No, no.
I don't eat the tomatoes,
Anywhere.
but I do have the baked beans, Their bacon is odd here, but I've learned to.
Yeah, that's not bacon.
So
No, your breakfast is awful right now.
I spend a lot of time over here because of the band I work for. So I've learned to embrace their bacon and the beans and eggs, but I don't eat the blood pudding or the tomatoes.
Oh
But
gosh.
last
You know, the
year,
beans are good like for dinner, not for breakfast.
yeah, then you go all day
Oh.
just tooting.
Yeah, exactly.
Last year, I was introduced to crumpets, and like they're dangerous to me. I'll eat like 6 crumpets in one sitting.
Oh my gosh.
Butter
Yeah. Oh yeah.
The European breakfast is the shit. I have to agree with
Muesli,
you.
I like. Have you had that?
Yeah, I've had muesli.
Great.
Yeah, our
I
drum
never
tech
knew that was a
muesli
thing
every morning. So,
until European breakfast. Fred Durst actually showed me that.
all right.
And I was like, what is that? And it looked disgusting. And then it was not. I'll tell you that. It was not. But yeah.
Well, right on. Well, thank you so much for your time. It was good talking to you.
You too.
You know, have a great day. Thanks for
Yeah, I'm
taking the
sure
time.
we'll see
Thanks.
each other somewhere.
Yeah, I'm
Festival
sure
or
we're gonna
something.
cross paths. Yeah, yeah. You know what I'm doing? I'm gonna hound Chris Bradshaw to hire me for shit.
Oh, I'm gonna text him right now.
All right.
Yeah.
Have a good night.
All right, you too. Thanks.
All right. Bye-bye. Paris Visone. Pretty cool, huh? Yeah, she seemed like a really cool person. I hope we do cross paths. Like I said, we were introduced by our good friend of the podcast, TJ Hoffman. You can find out more about Paris at her website, parisvisone.com. That's Paris, ParisVisone.com. And check out her Instagram at Paris Visone. Again, this week, you can check us out at isbreakfast.bigcartel.com. Also, go to oldbonestherapy.com, place an order, use the discount code breakfast, and receive 15% off. All right, everyone, I'm done. Have a great day. We'll talk to you next week.